Momentary restoration. For only a single moment, the entire moon is full. Sunlight illuminates a rounded face completely, and in that moment, I am reborn. My soul sheds an existing layer as the faint, pale blue light heals me. It paints my ebony skin, flowing over each square inch as if to say, I love you. Only then, when the moon so generously and reveals its reflective beauty, will I heal, patching my open wounds with the liquid light that pours in through my window. Curtains parted perfectly for when I gaze upon the sun of the night, in search of how to come to terms with my spiritual craters. During and within each full moon, I find myself, and then it wanes. When I step off the stage today, I don't want any of you to believe in some kind of miracle story, because mine is not that. And I also don't want you to believe that if you fix yourself well enough, you'll somehow stay intact forever, because you won't. And I certainly don't want to leave you with the impression that self-improvement is some kind of one and done task, because it's not. Instead, I'd like you all to remember this. It is okay to not be okay. Sometimes I play with the idea of nature versus nurture. I can't be 100% sure if I was always destined to battle with mental health because of what's engraved in my DNA, or because of some of the experiences that took place in my childhood and teens. But what I do know for sure is that I was first introduced to mental health struggles a few years back, and it would become a familiar face for years to come. I reflect sometimes about what was the trigger or what was the cause, and I've deducted it was a cocktail mix. Familial tension. Depleting relationships around me caused negative energy that took a toll on my entire mental state. Secondly, around this time, there was a wave of light-skinned praise. The love and admiration for these mixed girls and boys because of their caramel skin and their loose curl pattern. And I would look at myself, and I would see my chocolate skin and my tighter curls, and realize that I didn't fit into this puzzle. I felt like I was unworthy of the same love. It caused a daily comparison and self-loathing, and honestly, I hated myself. I hated the way I was or the way I wasn't. Around this time, I stopped eating, and on top of all of this, I had outside peer stressors that added more to the emotional baggage that I was already carrying. In short, I was trying to figure it all out, but I felt like I couldn't, and I was ready to combust, which I almost did. To say I was sad would be an understatement. But all in all, I was ill-equipped to deal with the emotions that I was facing. There were several times that I wanted to end my life. And I'm not proud of how many times I played with the idea in my head at my lowest times. But one of the main reasons that I'm here today is because I began to understand the crucial message that I asked you all to remember. It is okay to not be okay. Earlier, I included my original poem, and I'll repeat it because the message was and still is relevant. Momentary restoration. For only a single moment, the entire moon is full. Sunlight illuminates a rounded face completely, and in that moment, I am reborn. My soul sheds an existing layer as the faint, pale blue light heals me. It paints my ebony skin, flowing over each square inch as if to say, I love you. Only then, when the moon so generously reveals and showcases its reflective beauty, will I heal, patching my open wounds with the liquid light that pours in through my window. Curtains parted perfectly for when I gaze upon the sun of the night in search of how to come to terms with my spiritual craters. During and within each full moon, I find myself, and then it wanes. The full moon itself represents personal serenity after fighting through one's own storm. During a full moon, one can feel powerful, bliss, and simply at peace. But every full moon wanes, and that is to say that there's more to fight through. Recovery of any sort is not linear. And this is something that I had to learn for myself throughout my own personal journey. But there's always outside peer pressures to be picture perfect all of the time, whether that's from social media, family, friends, or even complete strangers. But I know now that it's okay to not be picture perfect all of the time. You will struggle and you will fall. There's peaks and lows and mountains and valleys, and I would be lying if I said I hadn't struggled with mental health again since my first encounter. But one of the main reasons that I'm here today is because of a combination of the crucial message I asked you all to remember and perseverance. In the wise words of the late Kobe Bryant, you have to keep going, you have to keep moving, put one foot in front of the other and keep on rolling. Thank you.